Okay, I'd like to talk about the causation of feelings and unconditional or uncaused love. Someone at a party recently said to me, I thought my cat snuggled up to me because it loved me, but it turned out after my central heating was changed, it was just after my heat since the affection went to the new heater. So the principle is I found the cause for my cat's love and I did not like it. But the question then is, what did you expect to find at the cause? What would have satisfied you? Because as I discussed in the neocortex shutdown video, that your brain continuously make all kind of predictions, and if your foot is placed on the stairs and it would sink in 10 centimeters and feel wet and cold, you would be surprised, and it is because your brain made a predictions about how it would feel. So you apparently had a prediction about what the cat should love in you, and you were not satisfied that it was your heat source property. Now, if it turned out that your cat liked you because of the food you provide, or the shelter, or an occasional meal of shrimps, or your scent, would that have been more satisfying? And I would argue no. Any pinpointed cause would have not have satisfied you, because it would all have been a disappointment, because it would have invoked the fear that without X the affection would have been lost. And it would also suggest that a mysterious love is just something that automatically and mechanically follows X, the love property. And I think that also a collection of causes, say X, Y, and Z, would not have satisfied you, because it runs in the same problems. Without them, is there still the love? And does it mechanically follow X, Y, and Z, the love? So you want to be loved, but not for any specific property. You want to be loved for being you. I want to be loved for being me. Because being you is something that seems pretty easy and you can never lose it. And the strange thing is that this you is not tied to any specific property of you, which could be lost. And I have a bit of a fascination with uncaused stuff, which desperately needs to remain uncaused, according to its proponents. So those who watch my free will determinism videos can confirm this interest. And I noticed that a lot of my interest regarding my philosophy interest revolve around these uncaused things that need to remain covered up. And so far I found the following. There is the government, which is the sourceless fountain of funding and wealth. So they create a bridge out of nothing. They don't show the 10 hospitals that were not built because of the taxation, but they just show the bridge. So it is subsidies. It's all not asking where it comes from. The funding is underground, the fountain, and the fountain just shows magnificent wonders. Then you have second one is God. God is the uncaused causer of material transformation. So if this falls onto the ground, you would not say that's a miracle, because that's just gravity happens every time. A miracle is something for which the causes necessarily cannot be found, because if the causes could be found, you could say, well, that just happened because of that, and that, and then it wouldn't be a miracle anymore. So a miracle needs to have causes undiscovered, and God does these miracles and causes these uncaused things. And also God is the uncaused, unconditional lover of the I. So it's often said that God loves people unconditionally. And Christians should also, of course, do that. So there's another form of uncaused stuff. And of course, God stops loving you if you do not love Him, because then you burn in hell forever. And that's two. And then there's three. There's free will. So it's the uncaused causer of sourceless fountain of human actions. And that also the causes cannot be pinpointed, because you would eradicate free will. I think Stephen Molyneux said that, well, maybe the causes of free will be found one day, maybe not. No, they will never be found, because if you found them and you say X, Y, and Z are the causes of free will, it wouldn't be free anymore, because it would be a mechanical response to X, Y, and Z causes. So you necessarily create something that remains to be unknown. Knowing it would be ending its existence. So free will also an uncaused thing. Then you have the unconditional love, as discussed earlier, the causeless love rooted in no properties of the love. Then some people work with good and evil, also in a crucial way to causation. So, for example, if you look at Kant, what he has to say on morality, the categorical imperative makes a lot of sense, but then he says something can only be moral if you do it out of a duty. But if you do it out of self-interest, it cannot be moral. So, say he could ask me, do you steal? And I say, no, I don't steal. Oh, that's very moral. But why do you not steal? Well, because I don't want to go to jail. But then it's selfish and then it's no longer moral. So I think that's a very weird way of working with that. And maybe it comes because as Kant was a little boy, then he had to eat either candy or vegetables. And his parents said, vegetables are good, candy bad. So Kant must have thought that, this nice tasting stuff, sweet stuff, is bad, nice stuff is bad, but bad tasting stuff is good, something like that. And not only, you could also say you have a murderer in court and he murdered his wife, and the judge would say, that's an evil guy. And then the lawyer of the defendant would say, no, wait, we found a cause why he killed his wife. And then the judge, well, why is that then? Well, he really hated her. And then he just say, yeah, that's a cause, but of course he really hated her, otherwise he wouldn't have murdered her, but that doesn't count. But we found a location of that hate, because it was, we looked at brain scan and the hate was really there, right up the amygdala. And then it would be a little bit weird still, because does it really matter where it is? Of course, it's not in his elbow, it's somewhere in his head. But does it matter if you can pinpoint it? No, it does not. But suppose now that they had a brain tumor. So, we found a big tumor in his head, and that's caused him to murder his wife. Then the judges maybe say, maybe you remove the tumor, and then he's no longer evil suddenly, because, everyone, it could have happened to everyone. And that is a weird way of flipping between evil and sick, which, it's another video maybe. And there's a book about this, which is very interesting, called Erewhon, written by Samuel Butler, and the main character gets into a society where the roles are reversed of sick and evil. So the thieves are treated with compassion, and they are carted off to a hospital, and they would say, you stole something, how terrible, and is it running in the family, and you got treated for it as a sickness, and the other way around, if you were sick, that was regarded with contempt, and you were treated with either battery acid or motor oil. You were treated very, very badly, and it was a reference, of course, to how criminals are treated in our society. So, interesting book if you like that idea. But it is a weird thing that often a person is good until we can explain it away. It's also called explaining away. You find the causes, you explain it away, now it's gone. And Malcolm Gladwell also does this in his book Outlier. So you have Robert Oppenheimer, who is very rich family, well-connected, language skills, and Christopher Langan, who had a very high IQ, 195 even, but he had a mother dating a string of alcoholic abusers, the last one of which he hid out of the house. Now, Oppenheimer one time tried to poison his teachers, but what happened? He was sent to a shrink, and they tried to cure him, after which he went to build nuclear weapons that killed hundreds of thousands of people. Christopher Langan, his mother forgot to fill in a form, then he was expelled from, he didn't get into university, then he tried to make up for it, to go there with a car, but his car broke down. When he finally got there, they said, this is not really the right attitude, you do not really appreciate the fineness of this institute, off you go. And he became a bouncer somewhere. And basically what Gladwell says is, you think this Oppenheimer is really successful and Christopher Langan is not, but look, if you look at the causes behind it, you can explain it away. and now it no longer counts. And I think that is the wrong way of looking at it. It's understandable in a way, but wrong. And Gladwell does the same thing with Bill Gates. He said, oh yeah,